Joined by C. White, the head women's basketball coach at Bentley. Coach White, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Gavin. Thanks for having me.
So just tell me, we're in the off season right now. It's June, so how's your off season going? And do you have any plans for the summer?
Sure. So far, so good. They all graduated 2 weeks ago. We
Nice.
probably were the last school to finish up. The seniors got back from the Bahama trip. We have a senior trip every year. Bentley charters the senior class to the Atlantis Hotel in the Bahamas, which is amazing. They've been
Okay.
doing it since early 2000s, and it's a huge success. It's a great way to cap off an unbelievable career. And our two seniors, Brooke Obar and Maggie Whitmore, were able to go and had just the time of their lives. They got back, and the next day they graduate. So it's been quiet around here ever since.
Nice. So going to the Bahamas, is that just for seniors or is that your whole team goes down there?
Oh, just for the seniors. Yeah, the
Just for the
senior
seniors.
class. They pay a small fee, and then it's a 4 day, 5 day, 4 night trip, chartered flights for, as many people who sign up for it, but it's typically around 500 to 600 seniors for the whole senior class that chooses to go, and they're up in the Atlantis, and they have theme nights every night, and Bentley does just a phenomenal job making sure that they just sort of get to relax and have a blast before it's all over.
Well, I hope you get time to relax. I see you have three children, including twins. So just tell me, do you take time in the summer away from coaching and your coaching duties? Do you get to spend time with your, children, during the
I
summer?
do. Yeah, it's a great question because it's,
Mhm.
during the season you're just so busy.
Yeah.
So having children is it's such a special thing, especially in season, because I think they give you such great perspective sometimes after a game. They love you anyway, whether you win or lose, and they're excited just to cheer, and they're the kind of fan that you want everyone to be like. It's just cheer for
Mhm.
good play and exciting basketball, and cheer for both teams and just get really into it. Now that they're getting a little bit older, they're starting to understand and have favorite players, and really, get into it. They really are starting to know the game. But it's really special to be able to share that with them. And we have a baby that's about to be 1. They actually all
Nice.
have the same birthday, which is very, very odd that the baby has the same birthday as the twins. So they're going to be 8 and the baby will be 1. And I'll make sure to spend some extra time with them this summer, especially end of June when their birthday is. And sometimes, when you're not recruiting on the weekends, it's nice to have full weekends off with your family. So yeah, a little bit more downtime than the season, that's for sure.
Yes. So, I mentioned to know, as you mentioned, you have twins and you have a 1-year-old. How do you balance being both a mom and a head women's basketball coach? The season's from, probably even before November, but, your games start November through March. So, how do you deal with that, being a mom and a coach, traveling to away games and, I'm sure your 1-year-old, too young, but, do your twins get to, go to your games or, they get to hang around the team, you know, much or not too much?
Yeah, that's a great question. They have come to a very limited amount of practices, only if there's sort of a need for it. I don't really bring them to work that much, but my wife brings them to almost every home game. She's a champ. She knows exactly, what time they have to leave and how to pack the car and how to have pajamas ready for after because it's a late game. So she's really a champ and she knows exactly what she's doing, and we're all lucky to have her because it allows me to do what I do and to be fully present with my team and my job for a very long season. As you mentioned, it's a very long season in the basketball uh sport is year round. Um, but they did get to come on an away trip this year. They got to come to St. Rose because it happened to land on a weekend, and we happened to be leaving Friday after our players' classes, so they were out of school, and they just thought that was the best trip of their lives. They couldn't believe they could ride on the bus, and they couldn't believe that they could be with the players who they just absolutely adore. They play one-on-one in the kitchen every night, and one of them's this one, and one of them's this one, and it changes every day. So it was really, really a cool experience for them to take an away trip with us. And our players are just the best and they're unbelievable with my kids. So I really appreciate, the whole family atmosphere that we have going on here.
So let's touch on, the past season. Your team finished 27-6. I believe it's your team's third consecutive NE10 championship. Fortunately, lost, I believe, for the second consecutive year in the, Division II semifinals. So, just tell me about this past season, winning your third consecutive NE10 championship, and then, just tell me, what you think, you and your team need to do to get over this hump of, the semifinals of Division II. Seems like your team's lost, back-to-back years in the semifinals. So yeah, you hope maybe next year you can, get past the semifinals.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
Mhm,
It was a very good year. Sometimes it's
mhm,
hard to sit back and be like, wow, that was a really awesome year. It is writing up my end of the season goals and goals for next year just yesterday.
mhm,
And to be able to experience such a wonderful season with such awesome kids that that just were so bonded. And I think every team thinks, oh, we were really close, but these guys literally will say, this is the closest team I've ever been on. And it was so much fun. And as a staff, we made sure that we also enjoyed the ride and weren't just, next game focused. And we were, but we had to make sure and remind ourselves we have to enjoy the ride because that's what it's all about. So having a very successful season and champs of the regular season, I think that's what it's all about, is if you can win the regular season in the NE10, you're doing something right. That's really, really hard to do, playing such unbelievable competition night in and night out. That's a really hard thing, and that's, I think, what we're most proud of. To be able to host and win an NE10 championship on your home court is absolutely thrilling. And to give that experience to our players and our freshman class is just, you can't replicate that. It's really, really hard to do. So that's that was awesome. Really, really awesome. What an experience. And then to be able to host the NCAA tournament was a big, big goal of ours. And um that was fantastic. And it's been a while since we've done that. So it was a very good season and very successful. But like you said, we have to figure out how to get over this hump. The
mhm.
the ultimate goal for any team in the NE10, I'm sure, is to you know, to represent this wonderful conference and go to an Elite Eight. So that's the goal, and we didn't achieve that, but nothing to take from a really great season with really, really talented team and great kids.
So, you started, you were promoted to the head women's basketball coach in June 2020. So since you've, been the head coach at Bentley, you've won 3 consecutive NE10 championships. So what does that mean to you? Every year you've been the head coach now, you've won the NE10 championship. I'm sure you're very proud of that accomplishment.
I am very proud of that. I think it's very, very special, and it doesn't it you know, three in a row, that's fantastic, but just having three is fantastic. So the fact that they came consecutively is very special to us. One is not more important than the other. I just think each year it's a different team, and you just want so badly for that team to have the success that you feel that they've earned. They've worked for since the day they stepped on campus. They've worked for all their lives, really, to prepare themselves for that day. And there's no better feeling than watching your players cut down the net, especially your own, after what that they went through to get there. And yeah, it was very, very special. And three in a row is very special. And we're really proud of that.
Well, I'm sure something that's really special to you is just Bentley as a whole is probably really special to you. You're 2001 graduate of Bentley. You've been, a coach since, 2002. You're 18 years on the staff with Barbara Stevens, which we'll get into, and you've been the head coach since June 2020. So, just tell me, just in general, what does, Bentley mean to you and how special, is this university to you?
Yeah, that's a really good question because that's what it's all about. That's the reason that I'm still here. It's the reason I've spent more than half my life at this
Yeah.
place. It's a very special place. I think anyone who has experienced it understands it. Um, this community and the support, from the president to our athletics department down is really, really unique. And I think that's the reason that you can have continued success year in and year out because you're highly supported. Um, you know, with the means that you need to be successful, as well as the support, um, the adoration and the love that you're getting from this unbelievable community. Bentley's a very special place academically as well. It's really, really difficult to get a degree from here. The rigorous academic and class load is I it's Ivy League level, and I
Okay.
think, to respect to I have a great deal of respect for these student athletes that are able to balance just this rigorous course load of some of the hardest classes, from corporate finance to accounting and, statistics at the highest level, and then perform on the court every day, day in and day out. It takes a special student athlete. But again, once you're on this campus, you signed up for this, you understand the rigors that it comes with, and we're obviously bringing in the right student athletes for the job.
Yes. So it says you're from Westwood, Massachusetts. So tell me about, just growing up, how you got started in basketball, and just tell me about, growing up playing basketball and maybe your high school days.
Sure. Growing
Mhm.
up, Bentley was, 40 minutes north and
Okay.
Stonehill was 40 minutes south. And those were the two biggest rivals, that was the
Mhm.
Yukon, Tennessee. So for me as a kid, it was like, wow, like it's all I knew was the NE10 and all I cared about was Division II basketball because that was, in the front page of the Globe and that was on, the news at night is those big battles. And then you had St. Rose representing, their region because they weren't in the league at the time. And that was the hugest thing is who was going to be 1, 2, 3, who was going to go to the Elite Eight and Final Four. And I remember my mom and I would go and travel and watch these games, whether St. Rose was hosting that year, Stonehill or Bentley. And it was just so awesome. So to be able to get a scholarship to play at Bentley was an absolute dream come true. It didn't come easy. I had to work really, really hard at it, being, 5'4" and 100 pounds, soaking wet. But it all paid off, and that was my dream for so, so long. And so to still be living my dream to this day is just it's unbelievable. It's like some days you just want to pinch yourself when you're driving into work that I get to do this. I get to come and represent this school and represent Bentley, coaching and being a mentor of the Bentley way.
Yes. So given that, you grew up 40 minutes from Bentley, usually I would ask the coach, what drew you to the school you went to, but makes sense, you're only 40 minutes from Bentley where you grew up. So, just how special was it, play for Bentley, and just, how was your time at Bentley getting to, be the point guard for the Falcons?
Sure. Yeah, I tell a lot of our recruits and our current players that, I got to live it. It was the best 4 years of my life. And I can say that to you because I lived it. I'm not making it up. I know what it's like to be a Bentley
Mhm.
basketball player. And it was unbelievable. And to this day, I'm best friends with all my teammates and we keep in touch all the time. And we're doing weddings and we're raising our kids together. And we're going golfing. And we're, doing these events and it's celebrating new childbirths. It's just exciting. And it's some to be able to give that opportunity to, a rising freshman, an incoming player is just such a great gift because I know the experience they're going to have and I know how much they're going to love this place. And so it's really, really special to be able to work here and to fulfill other people's dreams the way that mine was. Playing for Barbara Stevens, I mean, give me a break. It doesn't get any better than that.
So you graduated in 2001 from Bentley, and then you became a coach, and you returned to your alma mater before the 2002, 2003 season. So just tell me, what drew you to get into college coaching? Like, did you always know you wanted to be a college coach? I'm sure Coach, Barbara Stevens, had some influence from you. Did playing for her, influence you to, get into coaching? Just what drew you to, become a coach after graduating from Bentley?
Sure. Yeah, I had no dreams of becoming a coach.
Okay.
I loved just being active. I loved playing all sports. I played every sport you could think of. But basketball was my absolute passion. I just even from a young age, I wasn't as good at basketball as the other sports like ice hockey, soccer, but lacrosse. But basketball was just where I just my heart was in it, and it always had been. And so coming here, it was a no-brainer. I was not playing any other sport. I was that's all I want to do is play college basketball. But to have the opportunity to play for Coach Stevens, to be just such an awesome mentor of the game and just a guru that's constantly trying to learn and get better and hone her craft every single day and make such a, intense season, where you're nationally ranked every year and your goal is to win a national championship, not just get to the Elite Eight or Final Four to make that fun every day where you are excited to practice, you are excited to go to your weightlifting workout, you're excited to do your plyos and agilities or even a track workout because you get to do this and you get to play for someone like that and you get to learn from her. Well, I got the bug real quick. And when I graduated, I was a marketing major and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was doing some sub teaching and some personal training. And she asked me to volunteer here while I was doing those side jobs. And I did that for a year and absolutely loved it. I loved working out with the guards. I loved the, the energy of the practice every day, and to be able to give back to all that she had given me to, the classes below me. And Kathy Delaney Smith called me after a year volunteering here, and hired me as her second assistant over at Harvard. So this 1 year and having the Bentley knowledge got me a full-time job at Harvard, which was pretty impressive. And it speaks volumes for what Kathy feels about Barbara Stevens and, her philosophies. And then when this job opened up, the full-time job here after 1 year at Harvard, which was literally unbelievable. I learned a lot, and it was fabulous. It was fabulous. I came back and I've been here ever since.
Yes. Yeah, how special was it? You spent a year at Harvard, as you mentioned, and you returned to Bentley before the 2002-2003 season. So how special was that, to be able to return to Bentley? And then just tell me, you spent 18 years working on the staff of, Coach Barbara Stevens, who's, Hall of Fame coach, you got to play for as a player at Bentley. So, just tell me about, how special it was to return to Bentley, and then tell me, what did you learn from being on the staff of Barbara Stevens for 18 years?
Sure. Well, being at Harvard for that year was incredible. We were undefeated Ivy League champs and got to go to the NCAAs and played in front of 9,000 screaming K-State fans, which was pretty awesome. And so I wouldn't pass that up for a minute. And I learned a ton. And I learned that, if you have suggestions, you have to back it up. I learned how to do scouts and film exchange. I mean, it was just an unbelievable experience. And I got thrown into the recruiting process. And the recruiting process at Harvard is very, very different than here. So I learned a ton. And I owe a lot to Kathy for taking a chance on me. And we still keep in touch till this day. She's one of the best people I've ever met in my life. To come back here, it's just, there's no way anyone leaves Harvard, with that kind of experience, with that kind of boss, with that kind of, success, unless it's Bentley, unless it's, what you bleed inside. And that's truly me. The only school I would ever leave for would be Bentley. Because it's my home, and it's what I believe in to my core. And it's why, unless they throw me out of here, I'll be here forever, because it's just such a special place and it's just my home. So it was really, really special to be able to get this opportunity to be the head assistant and work hand in hand with Coach Stevens as her peer in a way, which was very strange for me, being her point guard and her player for so long. The relationship just grew so much and so strong that we knew exactly what the other one was thinking at all times. And we just were able to work together for so long, so seamlessly, that I never wanted her to retire. I mean, it was just absolutely awesome. And we talk every other day. And I always tell her that if she ever wants to come back, I'll move down a chair, not a problem, because we just had it so well and it worked so well. So, yeah, it was really, really special. It's a gift that, it's hard to even believe that I got to play for and work with, the Hall of Famer that got in the Kobe Bryant class, with Kevin Garnett and Kim Mulkey and all those special players. So it's just a gift that I can never repay her for.
So two more questions, Coach. One, I'm interested to know, it says that Bentley is one of the elite basketball programs in the country. So can you tell me a little bit about the history of Bentley, women's basketball? Has Bentley women's basketball, always been one of the, prominent, one of the best, teams in the country? Or is that only in the last few years? I know your team has been very good in the past few years, 3 consecutive NE10 championships and, appearances in, the Division II championship. So just tell me a little bit about, the history of Bentley women's basketball.
Yeah. It's really, really special because Coach Stevens has been here, forever in her 40-year career. And before her, they were actually very, very successful as well before she took over. It's the winningest Division II women's basketball program in the country. And that might go for men as well. I'm not sure. But that tradition, is just, it's really, really unbelievable. After all these years, how are they still so successful? And I can only attribute that to Coach Stevens and what she does and what she's taught me. And that's, people come first. People are people and humans before players. And you have to bring in the right people that buy in and that understand your philosophy, and they become the culture keepers that keep that tradition going. And when you find those people, and you are able to work with them, and they put their personal and individual preferences aside and put team first, year in after year out, you're gonna keep finding success. And I think everybody wants to know, but like how 50 years, this year will be our 50 years of Bentley women's basketball. How do you do that consistently for 50 years? And it's mind-boggling, to be honest. It's really, it doesn't make sense that this team could have that much success 50 years running. And it's all about what she's taught me. It's all about the people. It's all about the culture, and then the people that maintain that culture.
And then coach, finally, I'm interested to know, what is your favorite thing about being a head women's basketball coach? Do you most enjoy, getting to coach and mentor, young women college players, or do you enjoy the competition the most, or do you enjoy, just the travel and the trips you get to hang out with your players, I'm sure bus rides and other things like that. What do you enjoy most about, getting to be a head women's basketball coach?
Yeah, it's funny when you look back after all these years and, playing as far back as I had, you remember all the funny things. You remember the bus trips and the travel, and you remember some of those big wins too, but it's the camaraderie and it's the laughs and it's those memories that stick out the most, that make you laugh literally out loud right at your desk just by having it pop into your head. And everybody comes back for games and alumni weekends and events, and we just get dying laughing over stories. And it's never like the championships and all the nets you cut down. It's always those funny memories and those stories. And I think that speaks for a lot of teams, a lot of great teams that have great chemistry and culture, but it's very special here. I think for me as a coach, the funny thing is it's similar. It's being with the players. It's seeing how funny and quirky and silly they can be. I mean, they're actuary science majors, but they're still, 20-year-old kids that have such funny personalities, and just light up the room. And, you can hear the laughter and the jokes and the banter. And that's what makes it so much fun. That's the best part. And, with that comes success, I find, because they're just happy to be here and they're happy to work hard, because they're doing it together.